So our main thing when we're working on absolute value equations is to always keep in mind that the absolute value of a number represents its distance from 0. And what I mean by that is, if we're on a number line here, we have 0 right in the middle. Let's just say we have negative 8 over here, positive 8 over here. Both are 8 units from 0. Okay? So you think about it like if you're driving in the car. You don't say if you go like negative 100 miles or positive 100 miles. You would say you go 100 miles east or 100 miles west or 200 miles north, 200 miles south. It's always positive. A distance when you're traveling in a car. You can't travel negative 125 miles. Your distance traveled is always positive. All right, positive and negative gives us direction on the number line. So that's what we're doing here. You want to keep in mind, absolute value is just distance from 0. Negative 8 and positive 8, they're both 8 units from 0. So that's what you're going to keep in mind here. We're always going to have two cases with these absolute values. Because we can go to the left with the negatives and go to the right with the positives. All right, but distance is always positive, something to keep track of here. Okay. So I was going to start off with probably the easiest example I could give you when it comes to absolute values, absolute value equations. Let's go with the absolute value of x equals 12. What we're saying here is that x is 12 units from 0. So if we're looking at the number line, I'm not going to draw all the tick marks on here. But if we're 12 units from 0, we could be at negative 12 or positive 12. Doesn't matter. If I'm just saying I'm 12 units from 0, I could be 12 units to the left of 0, or I could be 12 units to the right of 0. Doesn't matter. So your solution for this is x equals 12 and, make sure you use and, x equals negative 12. Two solutions here. Absolute value of x equals 12, you get x equals 12, and x equals negative 12. Because if I put 12 in for x here, I'm going to get the absolute value of 12 equals 12, so absolute value of 12 is 12. Good to go. If I throw negative 12 in there, absolute value of negative 12 is positive 12. Kind of going back to maybe what you learned about absolute values in the past. Maybe your teacher told you the absolute value always makes everything positive. So in this case, it makes the negative 12 positive. So you get 12 equals 12, and it works out in both. But again, this is all I would need for a solution here. It's the same deal for all those easier examples. If you get the absolute value of x equals 2, again, we're saying x is 2 units from 0. So we could be at negative 2, or we could be at positive 2. Both are 2 units from 0. So your solution here, again, is x equals 2 and x equals negative 2. And again, that's all I need. So some special cases here. That's what I'm looking to start. If you get the absolute value of x equals 0, you only get one solution, just x equals 0, okay? We're saying that x didn't move anywhere. It's 0 units from 0, so there's just one solution. And if you get the absolute value of x equals a negative, there is no solution. Because remember, absolute value represents distance from 0, distance cannot be negative. All right. So again, that's your answer right there. If I give you the absolute value equals a negative, you're done, you're cooked. Then you just say no solution. Absolute value cannot be negative. All right, getting into some ones where we actually have to solve some stuff. Something like this. Absolute value of x minus 9 is equal to 4. So you got to break this into two cases. Think of it as your positive case. We could have x minus 9 equals 4. And we could also have x minus 9 equals negative 4. And then you're just solving this equation, solving this equation. So you'd add 9 to both sides, so x equals 13. 4 plus 9 is 13. Over here you have negative 4 plus 9 is 5. And that would be your solution. X equals 13 and x equals 5. Again, we put both those back in the original. 13 minus 9 is 4. You get the absolute value of 4 equals 4. So 4 equals 4. You're good. And then over here, absolute value of 5 minus 9 is equal to 4. So 5 minus 9 is negative 4. But we still have to take the absolute value. You do get 4 equals 4. So you're good to go. All right, same deal if you have a coefficient on your x. Absolute value of 2x plus 11 equals 15. Break it into your two cases. 2x plus 11 equals 15. And 2x plus 11 equals negative 15. You got to solve both of these. Subtract 11 from both sides. We get 2x equals 4, so that means x equals 2, and we get 2x equals negative 15 minus 11 is negative 26. So we get 2x equals negative 26, so x equals negative 13. All right, so two answers, x equals 2 and x equals negative 13. All right, same deal again. We have the absolute value of 5x plus 10 equals 20. Break it into those two cases. You have your positive case, 5x plus 10 equals 20. And 5x plus 10 equals negative 20. So we subtract 10 from both sides. We get 5x equals 10 and x equals 2 then. Over here, we'd subtract 10, and we get 5x equals negative 30, so x equals negative 6. So x equals 2, and x equals negative 6. All right, and last one here, we have to do a little bit of work first. So before you can break it into your two cases, you have to make sure the absolute value is isolated. So you got to make sure that this absolute value of x minus 3 is isolated first. So again, I'm going to say isolate absolute value of x minus 3. So first up, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. So 2 times the absolute value of x minus 3 equals 16. So subtract 8 from both sides. Divide both sides by 2 now. So it means absolute value of x minus 3 is going to equal 8. Now we're ready to put it into your two scenarios here. So say ready to split. So we can have x minus 3 equals 8 and x minus 3 equals negative 8. So x is going to equal 11 and x is going to equal negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. And those are going to be your two solutions there. All right. So we're going to work more on these in the next absolute value video. But yeah, that's your main idea. You got to get those absolute values isolated. And always remember, absolute value represents distance from 0.